Yo everybody and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Steins Gate Zero. When we last left off, Kagami was remembering, well, she had a bit of a freak out on the bridge as we were talking about Krisu. So, let's jump back into it. When we got back, she went to sleep and didn't wake up. Her headache seemed to have calmed down, but sometimes she would still moan. I contacted Mayuri and the others, and they were probably going to arrive soon, but the words she had said before. Save me, someone get me out of here. Save me, why won't you save me, Mommy? What was that? Were those fragments of her lost memories? If that was the case, then she really was Ocarine. Just as I went to look at the clock, the door opened and Mayuri and Lukako came running in. Is Kagari okay? Yeah, she's sleeping now. I'm so glad. She must have heard us talking because Kagari's eyes slowly opened. Where am I? She looked around, afraid. Calm down, you're in the lab. The lab? Japan? That's right, Akihabara, Japan. Oh no, they're gonna do this, aren't they? Japan? I'm in Japan? Oh, that's right, that exchange program. I need to get ready for the lecture, don't I? Exchange program? She's acting strange. Hey, Ocarine. Exchange program. Lecture. Those were Krisu's memories. Huh? My paper? Where's my paper? I worked really hard on it so I could show it to Dad. Calm down, Kagari. Those aren't your memories. Kagari looked up at me in a daze. Ocarine? That's right, your name's Kagari Shina, not Masuke Krisu. Kagari? My name is Kagari. Oh man. Oh. Lukako, sorry. Can you handle this? Yes. Kagari was confused for a while after that, but she gradually started to calm down again. Once it seemed safe to do so, I'd taken her back to Yanabayashi Shrine. But maybe we weren't going to be able to look after Kagari ourselves after all. Maybe we should take her to a hospital. Was it my ego that was stopping me from doing so? I kept thinking that as I walked along. Mayoshi's going to stay over tonight, okay? Yeah, that would be a big help. That would make Kagari feel a lot better. Try to treat her like you normally would, as much as possible. Yeah, okay. Ah, that was mean. I told her to contact me right away if anything came up, then headed back to the lab. Is Kagari in a bad shape? That was the first thing Suzuha said to me when I walked through the door. She and Maho were sitting on the sofa. I told them about the situation already via Rhine. But they were still worried anyway, probably. She calmed down now, but she was very confused for a while. Is it Chris's memories? Yeah. At this point, I don't think there's any doubt. I still don't know why, but inside Kagari's mind were Chris's memories. The question was how to deal with this problem. There were limits to what we could do on our own. The most we could hope to do is figure out how this had happened. But that wouldn't be a real solution. To really fix this, we need to get her back to normal, to erase Chris's memories and restore the original Kagari. And for that, we need the help of a specialist. Maho Hyojo was a specialist in that sense. There was no one else who knew as much as memories on working on the brain. But there was a problem. We still haven't told her that Kagari was from the future. In this world line, Maho didn't know Suzuha and the others that well. Of course, she didn't know about the future or time machine. Was it okay to tell her? Hey, how did you guys meet Kagari? I wonder what she was up to before she came to Urushibara's house. Kagari was found near provincial border in Chiba. When she woke up, she didn't have any memories of what had happened before. That was the same as this world line. But she had her memories of when she was a kid, right? You knew her, didn't you? Where was she when she was a kid? Suzuha looked at me silently. I then looked at my phone. Is Kagari okay? Oh sweet, that conversation's actually there. Telling you this just in case Kagari collapsed. What do you mean? Is she okay? She's awake now, she's probably fine. Suzuha, you got time after this? I want to talk about what we do next. Okie dokie, I'll go back to the lab. You sure? It's getting late. I'm fine. Thanks, see you here. Alright, it's either going to be we're all doing our best, or I'll do something. I'll do something. That's the typical Okabe response. Okay, Ocarine, thanks. Yep, just leave it to me. Suzuha looked at me silently. She felt responsible for what Kagari was going through right now, probably. I could see on her face that she wanted to bring back the old Kagari somehow. Uncle, what do we do? Can we tell her? Maho was a scientist. If we told her the truth, she would be sure to take an interest in time travel. She might start working on a time machine. This was a big risk. Thing is though, time machines are going to happen anyways. That's what the Third World War is about. You numpty. But if you want to save Kagari, there's no choice, I guess. I thought for a moment, then nodded. My priority right now was helping Kagari. Suzuha nodded back and then turned to face Maho. Okay, only a very few people know what I'm about to tell you. So make sure you don't tell anyone, okay? What's this all about? Maho seemed overwhelmed by the sudden chill emitting from Suzuha. But Suzuha kept talking. It may seem like a joke, but it isn't. Can you promise or not? Pick one. Maho looked at me hesitant. But she must have seen something in my face. Fine, I won't tell anyone, I promise. She nodded. Alright, I'll start by answering your first question. Where were Kagari and I when she was a kid? We were living in 2036 after the Third World War ended and civil wars raged on everywhere. Maho's mouth hung open for a second, but soon her cheeks flushed with anger. Don't make fun of me, I'm being serious here. Suzuha remained silent. Her eyes were ice cold and staring straight into Maho's. Herjo, Suzuha warned you at the start, this isn't a fictional story, this isn't a joke. Suzuha and Kagari came from 25 years in the future in a time machine. In a time machine? There's no way you can make... Even if I told you it was Masuke Chris who came up with the basic theory. Ha! The second I said Chris's name, the anger vanished from her face. That can't... Fine, I'll listen to what you have to say. Suzuha and I told her almost everything. How I met Krisu, about the D-mails, what happened in the Alpha World line, the development of the time machine, Mayuri's death. I would have laughed so hard if they just kept repeating Mayuri's death, Mayuri's death, Mayuri's death, because, you know, that's what happened. It would have been a, dark humor, I guess. Attractive field theory, what happened in 2036, what was going on with Kagari. The one thing I didn't tell her was the truth about Kagari's death, Krisu's death. Just give me a moment to process all that. What you tell me is that Suzuha and Kagari came here from the year 2036 to have Okabe change the future, right? That's right. Maho sank into the sofa and sighed. I can't imagine Oka being capable of pulling something like that off. I can't believe the future of all humanity rests on a single person. I don't think I could do it either. I'd given up, actually. On the entire future. It's not really believable, but the theory you described might allow for a time leap, yes. And more than anything, it was Chris who came up with the theory, right? Then it's worth looking into. Because she was a genius. Her words together seem like a mixture of ambition and jealousy and envy. So you believe it, yeah? In exchange, I want you to let me see the time machine. If you came here in it, it still has to be around, right? It is. It's very close. I need to look into this. But I've decided to believe you for now. So I want you to help me to believe. Alright? There was no hesitation in her voice. Thank you. If Suzuha said it was okay, it wasn't my place to speak. If Mao was going to help, that was all that mattered. Let's get back to Kagari. Like I told you, she was separated from Suzuha when she was 10. And we have no idea where she was until she was found last month. I'm thinking she may not have been in Japan. For how long? I have no idea of knowing. May have been the whole time or perhaps only a week. Uncle Okurin's hypothesis is that she was at Victor Kondiria University. Yeah, and that in some form or another she made contact with Amadeus. The look on Maho's face was one between acceptance and resignation. She sighed loudly. A copy of Chris's memory data had been saved for use by Amadeus. This data was the only possible source for the memories within Chris's head, Kagari's head. Her words today had only strengthened my theory. Exchange program, lecture. The fragments of memory were all from before she came to Japan. The memory data had last been saved just before she came to America. That was another match. I just checked with Dr. Linskin a while ago. Chris's memory data had been sealed away and no one can access it, he said. But I don't have the authority to check that for myself. It's possible someone took the data before the project was shut down. The only people who could have done that were people involved in the Amadeus research, right? Not necessarily. Anyone could if they hacked the server. Anyone was an exaggeration. The average person wouldn't have a clue. You'd have to be a super hacker. Q Daru! The question is why. If you're serious, right? Why would they want to do that? The most obvious possibility was that someone wanted access to master Chris's mind. But Amadeus should suffice for that. No, because once again we know. Oh, this is creepy. We know that doesn't suffice because Amadeus can put up roadblocks. You can't torture Amadeus, but you can torture a person. Oh man. There's no need to move her memories into another person's brain. And why would they want her mind that badly anyway? Time machine? She was a genius, sure, but she only published a single paper. There's no reason to think that it would be that important to anyone. Unless... What if someone knew that the basic theory of time travel was locked in Chris's memories? Yeah, I suppose they wouldn't have known to start with. It wasn't until after Dr. Nakabayachi's paper went out. Someone out there would want it. But Krisu arrived at that theory in the other world line you would tell me about, right? Have you ever heard of Dr. Nakabayachi's paper? Nakabayachi, the guy who sought asylum in Russia? That's right. I took a look at it, and calling it a paper is being way too kind. I think it's an inferior copy, and there's another version, an original. What are you talking about? Dr. Nakabayachi, his real name is Masaru Shochi. Shochi? He's Krisu's real father. I thought back to what I saw that day. I've also been thinking about whether it's possible to create a time machine. Read this. I want your opinion, Dad. It's not bad. Really? I think maybe we could publish it under both our names. Don't publish this. I'll take this. Come to think of it, I remember her saying before she left Japan that she was going to see her dad. He was announcing a new theory and that she'd be given him she'd been given an invitation. That day, Nakabayachi had stolen Chris's paper, and after he'd gone to Russia, he'd published his own paper. I hadn't seen it myself. Whenever I thought about it, I always thought about what I'd seen that day and what happened right after, so I'd been avoiding it. But I heard the professors at school talk about it. It was so terrible that it had become something of a running gag. But if it was just a bad copy of an original, if what we had been published was just Nakabayachi's own reinterpretation of Chris's theory, and the original still existed somewhere else, that's right. Chris, who had written the original theory, it had to be better than that. She actually succeeded in making the time leap machine. Then you mean someone found out about this paper and is trying to get the theory needed to make a working time machine out of Chris's brain. The cause of the Third World War was the intensification of the race for the time machine between the EU and Russia. Even America started to get involved, and it got completely out of hand. Things are proceeding exactly as history said they would. These people had attacked the lab in the last world line. Tanuji had said they weren't Japanese, but were military. Some military wanted Chris's time machine theory. That will explain why they chose to download her memories into Kagari's mind. I'm worried about Kagari. Believe in us. Oh, right. That's right. I believe in you more than anyone, Okabe. Of course, in Hashida and Maho too. If there's anything I can do, let me know. I'll do anything. I'll let you know. Luca is awesome. Oh! I mean, oh. That would explain why Amadeus would never talk about something that it didn't want to talk about. But what about a human? There were truth serums and torture method. A human could be forced to talk, maybe. Maybe they'd done that to Kagari. Of course, this was just a guess. But if it was a military that had tried to kidnap Kagari, it was quite possible. Moving memory data into a brain, huh? It's possible, right? Even with modern technology. Krisu succeeded in it, and she said it was an application of her own research. Yeah, that's right. It's possible. And that's what Amadeus was originally created to do. Medical applications, wasn't it? Ninskin had talked about it in the seminar, and Maha had interpreted. In this world line, Amadeus had been shut down, and the same seminar had never happened though. Mao gave me the same explanation I heard before. I was right, the memory data transplants were theoretically possible. Chris's timely machine is another application of this. Of course, both of them were intended to move the memories back into the original person's head, and Chrisu had said that even that was dangerous. Then what would happen if you tried to move them to another person's head? I don't think it would be as simple as copying them to a hard drive on a PC with a different OS. Operating system. The basic software of a computer that controls the entire system and allows other programs to operate in parallel. Parallel is also a fun word to say. We don't even know how much capacity the human brain has. In terms of strict storage capacity, it should easily have enough room to store the memories of two 20-year-old girls. Darrod once told me that the brain's storage capacity was 3.24 terabytes. That seems awfully small. But the problem goes beyond that. Terabytes? I thought it was petrol or more. Oh well. Like you said, we're still not even at the point to successfully downloading memories back into the original brain. If you try to copy those memories into someone else's brain, it could cause serious inconsistency problems, kind of like Kagari's having. In fact, we're seeing the error starting to happen right now. What will happen if to Kagari if we don't do anything? Will she turn into Masaga Krisu? Memories and personality are different things. Memories are controlled by the hippocampus and the cerebral cortex. Personality is controlled by the prefrontal cortex. The functions of the two are intrinsically connected. Different parts of the brain had different functions, but they weren't completely independent. Memories possibly played a large role in forming your personality. The mix of the two sets of memories is probably putting a lot of stress on her brain. If we don't do something, it could cause her entire personality to disintegrate. Suzuha slammed her fist into her knee in frustration. Is there some way to stop it? The only way to remove Krisu's memories from Kagari's mind. The only way is to remove Krisu's memories from Kagari's mind. Can you do it? If you can analyze the data in her brain, yes, but how many years away that is, I don't know. Suzuha's fists were clenched so tightly I could almost hear the sound. I could tell she was blaming herself for letting Kagari run away. If there was a way, it would be to overwrite her past memories again. Overwrite her memories? I don't think whoever altered her memories intended to leave her original ones. She might have been right. Putting two sets of memories in one mind was just asking for problems, which means that the experiment they had done on her had resulted in a different outcome than they intended. In a sense, they had failed. So if we were to overwrite her memories once more, with proper equipment, it might fix her. But we don't have that memory data. We'll just have to hope they made backups. What about the equipment? It'd be great if we could just find it somewhere, but if it doesn't exist, we can make it. It's not that easy. But Krisu made it, right? Huh? Oh, right. It had to work similarly to the time leap machine. Which means I will make it too. I might be able to help with that. The question is where to find her memory data though. We'll have to find it somehow. But there simply wasn't enough information. All we knew is that there was a non-Japanese Western military. And that information wasn't solid either. If anyone had the key, it was the woman in the motorcycle suit. I thought of a name and quickly blasted it out from my mind. Wait. I thought of a name and quickly brushed it from my mind. Got any ideas? None. It wasn't Yuki Amane. It couldn't be. We talked late into the night trying to come up with a way to find out who had done the experiments on Kigari. But even though we spent a lot of time on it, none of us had any good ideas. Get Dao to hack into the system and see the logs. Done. I can't believe it. No, but it's true, isn't it? On the train back, Maho Hayojo was having trouble controlling her excitement. Two girls who said they came from the future, and Okabe Minato's story about time machine. Normally she'd never believe them, but if Masuke Quisu's mind had made these things possible, she could accept them. Quisu was a genius. She just might be capable of doing it. What is that advertisement on the top left, right? Just pants. Oh, Japan. To Maho, Quisu seemed capable of anything. And most of all, she'd seen it for herself. On the way back from the lab, Suza had taken her to the top of the radio building and showed her a real time machine. It was night and she didn't have a lot of time to look at it closely, but she could tell at a glance that it wasn't made with modern technology. Honestly, she wanted to start work on making another one tomorrow. No, right now even. But she had something to do first. The time loop machine that Quisu had made. She needed to make an improved version. That meant she was going to be practically living in Okabe's lab for a while. So she decided to get what she needed from the office in Wako City. From outside the building, she could see the lights were still on, despite the late hour. Maho. As soon as she got inside, Dr. Leanskin rushed over, his face pale. What happened here? The room had clearly been ransacked. Of course, this place barely had anything in it to begin with, so with a quick glance, it was hard to see what had changed. But Maho and Dr. Leanskin's desk had clearly been searched. The drawers had been locked, but the locks had been broken and the contents split open out. Dr. Reyes hadn't bought much of anything, fortunately, and so she escaped with only very little damage, but her drawers had been dumped out. What happened here? Someone broke in. A thief? It looked like this when I got here. It might be espionage. In an empty office like this? Wouldn't it make more sense to hit the Weekend Institute next door? Only a few people even know this office existed to begin with. Suddenly Okabe's words began to take a new meaning to her. Could this have something to do with what he'd said? Was a secret war over the time machine already beginning? Anyway, Maho, I want you to see if anything's been stolen from your things. Okay. Well, was anything taken? No, nothing of mine. She checked the desks on the drawers and couldn't find a single thing missing. What about you two? I don't seem to have lost anything either. I looked at my computer, but I don't have any trace of I don't see any trace of access by a third party. You sure nothing was stolen? Yes. Come to think of it, Mao, what about your laptop? Was that stolen? Oh, I left it out at the hotel. It should be fine. I see. I hope you're right. What do we do? Call the police? If nothing was stolen, it might not do us good to make it fuss. You're right, maybe we should just wait and see what happens. Mao wasn't sure that was a good idea, but she could understand that going to the police would be a big hassle, especially since they weren't Japanese to begin with. More than anything, Dr. Leanskin probably didn't want to lose time that could be spent on research. The same was true of Maho too. Actually, Professor, I need a favor. Oh, okay. Oh, I thought like someone had hit her over the head or something. Or she'd passed out, or, you know, other thing to require a fade out and a sudden stop in sentence. Dr. Leanskin had agreed to give her a vacation much more rapidly than she expected. Maybe coming to the office over New Year's had paid off. Now she'd be able to focus on the time leap machine. When she got back to her hotel room, she quickly got her things ready. She wasn't checking out of the hotel, but she needed clothes and other things where she could stay at the lab for a while. Okay, the last thing I need is... Once she finished packing her bag, she grabbed another bag that was placed next to it. It was a laptop and portable hard drive that she'd gotten from Chris's mother after her death. She tried many times to crack the password, but never managed to succeed. Also, it definitely seemed like a ruse by... Not necessarily ruse, but... They were clearly after Chris's laptop. And... Leanskin might have been the one to trash the place looking for the laptop. Or he might be using this as an opportunity to find out where it is. Regardless, managed to succeed. But she knew she wouldn't have time to do anything with it, but she didn't want to leave it here. That's right, wasn't he... After she made one last check of her things and got ready to leave the room, an idea came to her. Not a bad idea, if I do say so myself. Maybe this is what Chrisu wanted. She quickly shook her head and chased the idea from her mind. Chrisu would get mad at her. Life and death were like a binary, 0 and 1. You could be one or the other. There was no will that existed after death. If it existed at all. Existed inside the brain. Occupy time to do. Several days passed, and I still had no idea who had planted the memories in Kagari's head. I went all the way out to talk to the priest who found her, and even questioned the locals in the surrounding area, but I had no luck. Suza seemed to be doing her own research. She hadn't been back to the lab since then. She was in touch with Daru at regular intervals, so I didn't think she was in danger. I asked Tanuji and Mocha again, but neither of them had seemed to have any luck. In this world line, the lab hadn't been attacked, which meant they might be up to something else. Even if they were, I had no way of even imagining what it was. But I was sure that someone had kidnapped a young Kagari Shina and experimented on her. And only recently had she escaped. They had to be planning something, and I was sure it was something bad. We didn't have time to wait for them to act, but without any clues, there was nothing we could do. My mind kept going in circles, and I kept getting more frustrated and nervous with every minute. Sorry to make you do all this for me, Maho. No, it's almost done, and I'm doing it for me too. Maho staggered out of the development room, sank into the sofa and smiled sleepily. There were dark spots under her eyes. For the last few days, she'd been working on the device without any sleep. Chris, who did it in 2 days, just saying. Her work nearly... Did she do it in 2 days? Or was it quicker? I can't remember. It might have been longer. I can't remember. I just remember 2 days. Her work needed to pay off soon, as fast as possible. Anyway, I never would have come up with the idea of using a cell phone. And even if I had, I never would have actually tried it. When you're talking on a cell phone, you always need to put it up to your temples, you know? That's where the frontal and temporal lobes are. If you consider that the parahippocampus in the temporal lobe is where memories are stored, it makes sense, I think. question is how we compress the memories, isn't it? I'm working day and night to make that happen. Sorry, Dao. And you absolutely insist that I not let them find out that I'm hacking into... and you absolutely insist that I not let them find out that I'm hacking in from this lab. So it's extra hard. I've got other work to do, you know. I wonder if Taniji would be like, okay if we just use his access to the lab. Well, I know he doesn't have access to the lab, but you know what I mean. To compress the memories, we need Seren's LHC, no matter what. That one took a lot of thought, though. If we made an enemy out of Seren, that tragedy I'd gone through once before would repeat. But the main reason that Seren had attacked us was the D-mails we sent to the past. If it weren't for that, they probably wouldn't have bothered. And since we weren't sending D-mails, Seren would probably never even detect us. Probably. Fortunately, Suza had the IBN 5100 that we needed for the hack. You didn't really need the IBN 5100 for the hack of the LHC though. Those are going along. Plus when the... Oh, I guess... It'll come better than expected. Plus, I guess... What's her face? Gary didn't try and shoot Suzaha? Oh, this is so confusing. This is why you don't time travel people. It just becomes a confusing mess. You know what, Queen? It's almost, she's almost a completely different person now. You're right. I nodded at Dao. For the past few days, more of Chris's memory had been invading Kigari's mind. Lately, she even started discussing complex technical subjects with Maho. She was acting just like Krisu used to when she lived in America. At first, Maho seemed put off, but she evidently adapted. Maho probably wanted to get details about the device from Krisu, so it seemed to be helping. You know, even after seeing a time machine, I still can't believe you made a time machine in a lab like this. The idea of digitizing human memories and sending them to the past is an amazing one. You're brilliant, Maho. I'll say the exact same thing to you. Huh? You're a genius, and in the end, I'm just Sal Iela, the Mozart student, rival person. Watching the two of them, it was easy to fool myself that I was thinking of, fool myself into thinking that it was Maho and Krisu talking. Hey, Kagari. Oh right, I wanted to ask about Amadeus. What happened to the project? Unfortunately, it was shut down. Kagari. Shut down? Why? Dr. Linskin decided to do that? I don't know. The professor said the orders came from higher up. But it was going so well. Hey, Krisu. Yes? What was I just... You're Kagari. Shina Kagari, right? Shina Kagari. That's right. I'm Shina Kagari. I'm... Kagari suddenly put her hands up to her head, afraid. But then... What are these memories in my head? They're Master Chris's memories, not yours. I don't know what that means. Kagari was acting completely different now than she was just a moment ago with Maho. She raised her voice like a child throwing a tantrum. To me, these are all my memories. My memories with Mama Mayuri, and my memories with my dad when I was a kid, and then my memories of the college in America are all inside me. I don't know which are real and which are fake. Words turn into sobs. I could understand how she felt. From her perspective, it was all real. None of it was fake. It was easy to tell her to get a hold of herself, but it wasn't that easy for her to actually do it. I remember what Krisu had said when she'd finished the time machine. She said you could never put your memories inside someone else's mind. It would destroy their personality. But just if they were to leave Kagari like this, what would happen? There's a chance their own memories would disappear and only Chris's would remain. If that happened, who would the person in front of me become? Would they be Kagari? Or would they be Chrisu? If it was Chrisu, that wasn't true. It was impossible. I couldn't even think about it. But the more I thought, the more I felt a horrible idea tugging at my mind, no matter how much I tried to ignore it. Tell me, what am I supposed to do? Save me, Mommy, Daddy. It would be great if Mayu was around. But unfortunately, both she and Luke had gone to school. Both of them were worried about Kagari and had told me to contact them if anything came up. But that didn't mean I could rely on them at all time. Kagari-tan, why not go for a walk to get your mind off things? That's right. Humans have a tendency to overthink things when they're sitting still. It might be better to move around a little. Okay. Alright, Ocarine, take care of Kagari-tan. Okay. Oh, having a stroll with Kagari again. Oh, I think I'm going to end this episode here. Man, things are getting confusing. And all this changed because of an email I'm thinking back to what happened. Like, the only difference so far that we know of is we hung up, we didn't answer Amadeus, and then we turned our phone off. And that led to the word line being changed slightly. We don't know what that change was, but it changed. And then all this stuff has happened. It's probably safe to assume that that change that happened had something to do with Kagari. Well, till next time, everybody. Bye!